What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Rec Talk. Riding down here through good old Marietta, Georgia. And I wanted to talk about, I was thinking about this. Now, I'm sure there's been Miami people, even non-Miami people that have talked about this. What's the difference in Miami now and previous years? In other words, what seems to have gotten them over the hump that they were not able to get over in years past? I mean, look, we all clown Miami. We're back. The U, no ACC title since they've been in the ACC, 24 years or whatever. One ACC title appearance when Mark Richt was their coach. What's got them over the hump? And then I want to talk about, what's the difference in this year's Georgia Tech team and last year's Georgia Tech team? It does seem like Georgia Tech's taking a step back in a lot of areas that are surprising, like offense. First, let's talk about Miami. What's gotten them over the hump, or it appears to? First and foremost, quarterback. Shy of having just an absolute top-tier elite defense, to really get to the next level of play, you got to have an absolute top-tier quarterback. Miami has that. Cam Ward is a legit Heisman Trophy front-runner guy. In fact, his numbers, I saw, I think someone on Twitter posted this, are pretty similar to what Joe Burrow's was at this point in the season, his senior year. I guess Cam Ward, is this his last year? Does he have any more eligibility left? Anyways, Cam Ward's a phenomenal player. He can make plays with his feet, doesn't tend to force the ball, throws the ball downfield well. And look, he's got weapons at wide receiver that just a lot of teams don't have. This is number one offense in the country, number one pass offense, yards, all of that. They're 35 ranked nationally in run. That's probably, some of that's to do with the fact that they're just so good throwing, they don't need to run as much, right? If they wanted to balance a little better, they probably could be higher ranked and statistically rushing wise. So first and foremost is Cam Ward. As a matter of fact, and I could be wrong, I saw this stat like a year or two ago, how many quarterbacks in the past 20 years, and this is crazy to think about with the recruiting hotbed that South Florida is, the number of quarterbacks that Miami has put out that have gone in the first 3 rounds of the NFL draft. It's either 0 or 1. And the one, I think, I don't know if Kaya went 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, but Brad Kaya is the highest drafted quarterback they've had up to this point in the past 20 years. Now, Brett, I'm not even sure that that's his name. I know his last name's Kaya, but a guy that, look, no one outside of Miami fans probably knows who he is. I do think he set some records at Miami just because he played so long. Did he start as a freshman or a redshirt freshman? But that's the big thing that's gotten him over the hump for this season, is having that electric quarterback. Other thing is, it seems like there's a buy-in from administration they probably haven't had, and maybe they've gotten out of this cycle. And look, might be calling it too early. We're not through with this season. It's not at all likely. It's very unlikely. They could lose to Georgia Tech and another team and something comes off the rails. But shy of that happening, I don't think it will. It seems like you've gotten out of this cycle of hiring and firing coaches. I mean, they've really been in the same cycle that Florida's been since Urban Meyer left. Hiring and firing head coaches every 3 years, hiring and firing coordinators every 2 years or every year. And just, I think that's killed your recruiting. I mean, since Miami's joined the ACC, how many top 5 classes have they had? How many top 10 classes have they had? And credit to Mario Cristobal, he's turning that tide. He's turning the talent around on that team and definitely seems to have them headed in the right direction. I mean, particularly offensively, they've got some electric playmakers, right? And a very good offensive line. Mario Cristobal, obviously an offensive line guy. So that's what I, as an outsider looking in would say it's kind of gotten them over the hump this year. As far as Georgia Tech, kind of what's going on with this team? Why do they seem to have taken a step back? One, I think offensively, if you're not evolving, really, you're just not going to let me. People are absolute idiots. If I'm ever elected president, and I don't care about your political opinions, but if you vote for me, half of all driver's licenses are revoked immediately. We're taking a test. If you don't have a PIN, you're out. Because at least half of drivers are complete morons. Anyways. But if you're not evolving offensively, like you can't just do the same exact thing you did last year, right? Because teams are just going to gear up and be ready for that. So you can't just, run the same playbook and offense and style. Well, maybe style, but you got to change things up a little bit. I think Georgia Tech kind of tried to just beat their head against the wall with the same game plan, same blocking scheme, same identity, and teams kind of figured that out, particularly with stuffing the run. Teams have just stacked the box on us, and we haven't been able to adjust to what teams are showing us. So that's a big thing. Now, the other thing is Tech's kind of in a spot I don't like with coordinators like OC, DC level down where, well, not even that. Like we retained Thacker, fired him, brought Kevin Sharon as DC, interim DC was linebackers coach, fired him. Ricky Brumfeld, special teams coach, signed him to a big, massive extension, fired him. That's not great, but I think offensively, well, one, we've had a fair amount of injuries. Everyone has, though. You gotta be able to roll the punches, but like I said, I think we've just kind of beat our head against the wall with the same old offensive game plan a little bit, and it's not working this year because teams have adjusted to it. I guess my biggest criticism from a coaching standpoint for Tech this year is it seems like we don't adjust that well throughout the season, and particularly within games. So looking forward to this. I'll be at this game. It's a noon game this Saturday at Bobby Dodd. Hope to see you guys there. Comment if you're a Miami fan, you're going to be there. I think someone who pointed out, hey man, I don't think you have any freaking clue what an over-under is. It was late that night. I don't know how else I can demonstrate to you guys. I don't know what I'm talking about if you've watched me for any length of time. But I think he said he was going. If you're going, let me know. I'll probably have my Rec Talk jersey on. Would love to see you guys. And y'all have a good one.